Uh-huh. It is interesting. Let me see. Am I live? Am I live? Oh, we are live. Cool. Uh, cool. Uh-huh. It is interesting.
Okay.
Let me see. This, well, I haven't done a stream in a very long while, so this is gonna be an adventure. Okay. So, um, it's been a while that I've also released a video. That's why I'm also doing this stream. I'll be playing a little bit of the game that me and a couple of friends uh, made. We released it a few years ago, but always I wanted to play something uh, that I would know from like the palm of my hand. So, um, what do I want to talk about? I want to talk about the the video release, right? So I've been doing I've been doing these videos as a sort of hobby while we work on other game projects. Um, and because we've been a little bit busy this past year working on a few new things, I haven't been able to really work on this channel that much. But um, technically, I have been making this video for like a while. Uh, I had the initial idea last year, but let me before I start talking, let me start here our rush mode, which is basically I can start, I can play all of the levels from beginning to end without thinking too much. It's more or less a speedrun mode. Okay, and yeah, I had the idea of making this video talking about budget releases like like a year ago, more or less after I did the Digimon video. I thought, you know what, let's make a little fun video, do a small rank. Oh, oops, that should not be happening. We still have some kinks that we might still work out. Um, I wanted to, I wanted to make a few a small video which I could uh, basically not spend too much time editing and stuff. So I thought, I have a couple of games in my collection that are budget, you know, budget series. So why not make that? That's something I really, let's say, dislike having. Oops, I really dislike, having in my collection some different covers. Some of those, if you've seen the video, some of those covers I think are horrendous and kind of break. They kind of stand out alongside normal covers. So I thought, it might be interesting to do a small video talking about those things. And tier lists are kind of a genre on its own in YouTube. So why not dab a little bit into that as well? So that's where the idea come from. Now, obviously, um, it's never as easy as one thinks, unfortunately. And that's basically what happened with this video, right? Um, I I had that initial idea, and then I thought, I have a few platinums, I have a few Nintendo Selects. How many more am I really missing? Not that many, I thought, because back then I basically only knew those ones. I knew that PlayStation had the Platinum series and the Essentials and the PlayStation Hits. I knew those ones. I knew Nintendo had the Select and the Player's Choice. I knew that Xbox had the classics, and I knew that even the 360, because I also owned a few of them. I knew that the 360 have multiple classics versions. So I thought, that I'm probably not missing that many. So I'm gonna look into those, and I'm gonna try and get the ones I'm missing, and then start doing the video, because I thought it would be a cool idea to actually showcase showcase the games, instead of just having screenshots of them, and actually have video of me um, showcasing them. Obviously, when I actually started doing research, that actually um, started to change my outlook on the actual video. Obviously, um, immediately I started to realize that it was going to be hard for me to do all regions like PAL and ESRB, America and Japan, because I started to realize that that was a lot of covers, and I only own a few imports, so I would have to order a lot more games that I was actually missing. So I thought, okay, I'm just gonna do PAL for now, and maybe in the future I might try and get the other ones I'm missing from other regions. However, um, actually, when I started researching all of the PAL series, I actually started to realize that there were a lot more than I didn't know about. In fact, I had no idea of the classics from Sega. I had no idea about the Nintendo classics as well. I had no idea that those existed. So immediately I started to realize, okay, so I need to get a lot more games than I actually thought I needed, and that's also one of the reasons why the video started to uh, to took longer to start to take longer than I expected, because okay, so now I need to get all of these games that I don't own. And I started to realize that also the ones I knew existed had variations that I had no idea. I had no idea that there were more variations for the original Xbox. I had no idea that there were uh, two versions of the first Platinum design on the PlayStation 2, for example. Um, I had no idea that that the 360 had one. I had no idea that the N64 had Player's Choice as well. I thought it was only GameCube, for example. So yeah, there were a few things that I I just didn't know about. So that started to increase the scope of the video. And as I tried, I didn't want to spend a lot of money doing the video, buying games specifically for it. So I tried to get the best deals I could. So some of those games are a bit weird. I never thought I owned, like 007, for example. I'm not a big fan of of 007. Um, but uh, yeah, even after I thought I had all of the games, there were still series popping up that I had no idea on my searches for the games that I still didn't know. One of the last ones that I got knowledge of was the Xbox One, the greatest hits one. I had no idea that existed. Possibly because it's a bit strange. Um, I think here in Europe only Ubisoft games got it. I think. I'm not entirely sure, because I couldn't find a lot of those games. I know that in the US there are more games from the series, but here in Europe it's very limited. Um, so yeah, after I between getting all the games, because between all of this there were more stuff happening. The other thing was I changed video software. I was using uh, Adobe Premiere to do the videos because I had access and I was more knowledgeable of Adobe products. But after some questionable decisions from Adobe's part, I decided to actually start looking for alternatives, and that's another reason why the video took a little longer. It was because because I also need to learn to work with a new software, editing software. I started working with DaVinci Resolve, which is fairly common, I think, in the YouTube space by now. But I never worked with it before, so that was another thing that this video had. I still needed to so as basically that's one of the reasons why this video also has more limited editing. I didn't want to spend too much time uh, working on the actual video editing, since I was trying to also learn it, the software, I mean. But yeah, that was interesting. During this time, meaning during this past year, I also been working slowly on the script. Um, the first part was trying to decide how I was gonna rank them. I was thinking initially I was just gonna go, by first impressions, kind of. Then I thought, I want to add some sort of structure to the video, so let's try and actually give a scoring system. That I create some type of scoring system. So that's how I came up with that system. Might not be the best one, um, but I think it covers most of the bases that I think a cover design probably should have. So yeah, um, even during the scripting process, I also changed some uh, some ratings because I wanted to at least have some sort of consistency in in my in my ratings, basically. So there were some times when I was questioning if I was being fair to some series, and even some of them which I actually kind of don't dislike, let's say it like this. I still gave lower scores. For example, the the um the Xbox One, the greatest hits. Like obviously it's one of the ones that I enjoyed more, since it doesn't really obstruct the original cover that much. So I don't mind it too much. But I thought that, to be fair, it should actually have some sort of design, right? Just the badge kind of feels low effort on some way. Another one that I'm not completely, that I'm not completely sure about is the classics, the green cover for the 360. I still think that uh, I gave it slightly better rating that it should deserve compared to other covers. That one, for example, the Xbox One is a good case because it does change a lot more of the cover, right? So yeah, but during the scripting process, that's basically what I was trying to make sure, that I was fair with the ratings. I might even in the future do a small update to the video, like I said, especially if I find more series that I missed. I know I didn't talk about one in particular. Um, one that I found out that's technically Paul. I think there is an Australian one for the Mega Drive. Um, but unfortunately, I don't live in Australia, so trying to get one of those games probably is going to cost me a little bit. So I thought, maybe not get it. And this was before, um, because this was before I decided that some games I really am gonna have to do screenshots and not actually showcase the cover, the actual box. and because if you see the video, you see that I don't actually showcase some of the Nintendo classics, because just trying to get one of those classics was going to cost me a little bit more than I wanted to spend on the video. It's we all know that retro gaming is becoming more and more expensive, right? So trying to get a specific version of a game, trying to get the actual games for those systems is already expensive. Trying to get Game Boy games or Super Nintendo ones or NES ones, right? It's already going to cost you a bit if you want them complete. So trying to get a specific box, it's even going to cost more. I've just realized that I've been playing this entire time without game audio. Oops. Give me a second. During the testing, I took the the game audio. So yeah, okay. This should be fine now. All right. So where was I? Yeah, getting the games would probably cost a little bit. However, I still think it probably, I should maybe mention it in the video, that that edition, that budget series for the Mega Drive, because since I didn't actually showcase the Super Nintendo one, that the NES one, maybe I should have made a special case for that. But I guess I can always talk about it in a later edition to the video, to the video. But yeah, that's probably all I have to say about the research. I was not really, actually. There is some other things that were a little bit confusing. For example, I've realized that some covers have some variations depending on the language. I had no idea. Like, for example, there were some the Super Nintendo ones. Oops. In case of the Super Nintendo ones, there were some French covers, I believe, that were mirrored from the original, from the normal version. It's a bit weird. I had no idea that that stuff happened. There's also other variations, and in one of them you might see in the actual video, where the Super Mario Land 2 one that's on the actual tier list has some red letters in front of it, which basically tells you the language version, I believe, of the game, which compared to the normal version, to other versions, like for example the Wario Land one, does not have those letters. Some small things like those that might change, that for example could actually change the rating. For example, if I'm saying, for example, a lot of times, if I was rating the actual red cover, damn it, I died the same way. If I was rating that set, the actual cover, the Super Mario Land one, if all of those games had those letters, I would probably rate it lower, because that just looks awful when you have letters just obstructing the cover. Like I said in the video, I really don't like bold red, especially bold red, screaming in the image. Like, if it's in the original cover, if it's part of the original game's branding, it's okay. But when you have more, especially when you have covers that have more mute colors, it just looks awful. It just looks cheap, you know, like like you're seeing a sale, some sort of item on sale on stores, right? Like only this price, I guess. And if you think about it, I guess that's the idea, right? The idea is to stand out on a store shelf, right? Saying, you know, oh, you can buy this game only for this price now because it's part of this series. But you know, you can be a little bit more how do you say it? More subtle? Not subtle, but there are better ways of doing it, right? At least better visual ways of doing it. But yeah, that's probably what I have to say about that. When it came to the actual editing process, it was actually fairly easier than I expected. There's still some kinks that I don't like about DaVinci Resolve, but I think with time I might just get used to it. I'll probably keep using it for now, unless I discover any other alternative that I enjoy more. So yeah. I guess I also wanted to talk about the actual results, right? I don't spend a lot of time on the actual video talking about them. It's kind of sad because, like I said, there are some of the covers that I actually wanted to give more, but because of the score system that I devised, because of that, they ended up getting lower ratings than I expected. So because like I said, I'm trying to be fair, trying to be objective in some way. Obviously, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm always gonna be a little bit subjective about it. I even say that in the video. I literally use the term tacky a lot of times in the video because I think that's a better way I have to describe the perception that the design gives, because it just feels like, you know, it just feels cheap. Some of those designs feel like, you know, those designs that we'd seen in the in the early 2000s, just awful looking ones. You know, the Comic Sans era, let's say it like this. And it's, you know, I'm not gonna disagree that it has some of those designs have their charms, but you know, there's also some sort of artistry in that sense as well. Whoops. Yeah. So part of the scoring system was a bit disappointing on that regard, especially because when I designed the tier list itself, I actually thought I was gonna initially thought I was gonna use the DS rank. I ended up not using it, to my surprise. I actually thought that some games would get it. Part of it because I actually didn't own those series. For example, I actually thought that the last classics on the 360 was gonna get an S rank, because I only knew the actual front cover. I never actually looked it from the sides. The moment the moment I saw the spine, I thought, God damn it, they ruined the context. They ruined the spine. Why did they have to change the size? And it actually ends up standing out a lot more than the other ones. So I was like, okay, so because of this small thing, this thing is not going to get an S rank. This thing is at max going to get an A rank. That's what it got. So yeah, I hope that maybe in the future, if I do another video, I might actually use the S rank, the maximum points. Another thing that I did not talk about in the video was, this is a bit subjective and it's a bit case by case, which is how some game covers actually look better with the video, with the series. For example, the Platinum series on the PlayStation 3, the yellow one, I don't really like it, I'm gonna be honest. But on a specific case, I know for a fact that on... Oops, I'm going backwards. On a specific case of Infamous, for example, because the cover also uses, grays and yellows, that game actually fits the series. So that Platinum series doesn't actually look that bad with that game. Obviously, there's that fact. There are others that I don't know. The actual... Wait, before moving on to something else, obviously I used Infamous in the video. You can see it because I use it with the Essentials, and obviously the Essentials series doesn't fit as well. So you can see what I'm saying, where because that budget series is red, while it does fit the console better, which I believe it does, right, with the PlayStation 3 era, at least the redesigned one. While it does fit the console better, it does not fit the game better. That's something I really didn't touch on during the video, because the idea is not to talk about edge cases, right? The idea is to talk about generally how does the series fit with all the games, and in most of the games they might fit or not, right? The most important key aspect is that it fits. But when it comes to actual fitting with the design, right? It's more important that it fits with the console itself, that it fits with a game. So yeah, that's why I decided, I'm not going to touch upon it, because especially when I started looking at the script, it was already starting to get a bit longer than I expected. This is the longest video I've made, and this was originally envisioned as, I'm just gonna do a small little video. Let me do a small little tier list talking about budget series covers, and in the end it ended up being one of the biggest video I made so far. Probably in the future I don't think I'll be doing, at least not in the missing the close future, that's how you say it. Well, anytime soon I won't be doing a video that big. In fact, anytime soon I probably won't be doing I probably won't be releasing any more videos, because like I've said, we've been a bit busy with new projects. One of the projects we're working on right now, actually we've already talked about it. We already have a little teaser, which is not... I don't think I've shared it yet, because we're making a game for a movie, a Portuguese movie. In case I'm talking about this in case you don't know, I am Portuguese. Our studio is made of Portuguese developers, and right now we're making a game about a Portuguese movie, a Series B inspired Portuguese movie. which is it's called The Old Man and the Demon Sword. You know, it's going on a few festivals right now, so if you have an opportunity to see it, I recommend it. It's a good watch. Of course, I might be a bit biased because you know, we're making the game for it, but we're making a little you know, mobile-based game. We're still gonna, whoops, okay, I need a little bit more speed for that. We're still probably gonna put it in other platforms like PC, but you know, for now, that project is mid-development, so we'll be showcasing more of it in the future for sure. So yeah, because of that, because we've been working on that, then some other projects, we probably won't have much time to be working on videos, but we'll see. Maybe that might change, especially if I have another idea of doing a small video and actually remain small, then I might do another one in the recent future. So yeah, I don't know if I'll be doing many streams. I probably won't. I know that I want to keep doing this. I want to keep doing what I'm doing for this stream, which is, I think it might be cool to keep doing little streams talking about the videos I release, because you know, there's always little things that I miss. Not that I miss, that on by choice that I don't speak about, because you know, I don't want to drag the video too much. I know I might sometimes add not unnecessary details, but maybe more details that some people expect. And what I definitely don't want to do is do videos that people, you know, that people think, that people think that might drag on, or that overstay their welcome, right? And because of that, like I said, I want to make sure the pace of the video is good, so I end up not talking about some things that might be small curiosities, or things that that are not really necessary, right? But yeah, like for example, I think I do a fair enough job explaining the rating system. I think it's more or less understandable where the place, where my mindset was when I created that rating system, and the idea of it, right? That's also important. Because I like I said, I want to make sure that I do content that has value. If I didn't work on something like that, if I didn't work on the rating system, it would feel a bit random, right? What I was giving, the scores that I would be giving, and that's something I did not want to do. Because you know, especially if in the future I want to have a discussion about these things with other people, I want to make sure that we're talking about this, that we're on the same, not side, that's not what I want to say, but of the same mindset, that we're talking about the same terms and ideas, right? I want to make sure that we are discussing these things using the same categories, right? Or at least that if other people talk about it, that it would be cool for them to create their own categories. Why would you think a series is better than another one? besides just I just think it does, right? Because that's kind of boring, at least from my point of view. It's kind of boring that you're just talking about, if you're talking about something and you're just saying, oh, I like something because I just do. Because there's no discussion there, right? What should how can someone actually have an interesting discussion if you're just, you know, if you're just giving your opinion and you don't substantiate it with anything, right? Because then, you know, how can I even agree with you, right? There's not much to talk about, I think, if you're just talking about something like that. If you're coming from that, if you approach those types of conversations like that, right? But yeah, thinking if there's anything else that I want to talk about. Probably not. You know, sorry about the earlier fumble with the audio. Like I said at the beginning, this is a bit of a test drive as well. I haven't done a stream in a while, so you know. Oops, I was distracted. Yeah, I think I also hope you enjoy looking a little bit. Enjoy the gameplay on screen. I mean, it's just to have something on screen. One of the things that we're still kind of working on is this game that you're seeing, Rush Away. It's true we released it more or less 2 years ago, but you know, we're still touching up a few things on it. Obviously, as developers, we know of the presence of a few bugs that you've seen right at the beginning. There's still some weird kinks the game has. But you know, because we want to work on other projects, this game has kind of gone a little bit into the background. Because we do want to focus on other games. We want to make new stuff. Yeah, I think that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this little stream. The idea is literally to have this archived. I really didn't want to make another few days working on a simple video like this, just to talk about the video editing process. Oops. So yeah, I think I'm gonna stay here, and you know, you'll probably be watching this when it's archived on the channel. And yeah, I hope we'll be putting this. What am I saying? I hope you enjoy it, and I hope to be putting a new video in the future. I don't know when, but like I said, I'll probably share some news about the new game before that. So see ya, bye bye, and thanks.